Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am working on that hyperminting video with all of the data that I'm going to be presenting you guys, and it's very foretelling, so just wait for it. It is coming later today. I wanted to go over this. It's crucial. Over the course of the next few days, there's going to be a lot of things happening, and depending on the outcome, it might not be positive for us. We need to work very careful and very diligently to ensure that we get the correct data to the right people. From what I understand, Do Kwon is possibly only looking at a maximum sentence of 12 years in jail. And from my perspective, that's not enough. This guy should serve life in jail. And all of these cronies that think he's innocent, he didn't do anything wrong, have not looked into all of the information, the evidence, and everything that was made available through the civil case. And primarily, everybody forgets, not you guys, the validators, other people, right, that are very supportive of this guy, forget the fact that this all started because of a $20 million bet with egos involved. This whole thing started because of him making a bet with someone else over something that was pointless. But in doing that, he made it profitable. Not only profitable for the crash to happen, well, he was actually going to pay out for that crash to take place. Not just from his own pocket, but from his own ecosystem. And that's exactly what happened. Not only, right, did they fake transactions, but Chai was also used to bolster Ustc. So they were bleeding assets from one area and pumping it into another and claiming that this product was taking in a lot of new users, new holders. There was a lot of new interest when there wasn't. He inflated everything until the thing began to pump. This was illegal from the very top to the very bottom. Something else that's definitely going to be used in the criminal case that wasn't really used in the civil case is going to be the amount of people that unalived themselves because of the crash that this man caused. And that's why they're asking for details on victims, and they're going to look at time served. But these unresolved charges ahead of sentencing are going to be crucial because these are the areas where they simply did not comply. And yet that applies to the final judgment with the civil case and burning through all of the assets that TfL owned. Whether that was on a CEX or on chain, it didn't matter. They were ordered to destroy all of those assets. Chris Armani confirmed this many times before. Go back and check out my video before this. Now, from what I understand, the US judge has posed 6 questions regarding the sentencing of Terraform Labs founder Do Kwon specifically, who is again accused of defrauding investors, who's responsible for the crash, and all of the other delightful things that happened in May 2022. Judge Paul A. Englemayer, who's going to be doing all of the sentencing, is also going to be seeking clarity on issues such as Kwon's potential extradition to South Korea, which is going to get real interesting if that happens, and then the victim compensation before the sentencing hearing on Thursday, and that is yet to happen. So victims haven't been made whole. They haven't abided by the final judgment, and he's yet to possibly be extradited after time served in the US, right? That he will then be extradited to South Korea. So if he does get 15 years, well, then he's going to have to serve that time, and then he's going to be extradited, and then he's going to be charged again in South Korea, where there's legal cases still pending against him and Terraform Labs. Now, Terraform's collapse had a market value exceeding $50 billion. This wasn't a significant event. This wasn't a chaotic event or a diabolical event. This was the biggest meltdown we've ever seen in crypto to this very day. I don't even think FTX is bigger than this. I don't think SBF himself caused as much disruption as this, yet look at how much time he's serving, right? How do you think this guy's going to get away with 12 to 15 years? Not on my watch. Not on my watch. My friend, God rest his soul, would be ashamed. He'd be turning in his grave thinking that I settled for 15 years. More importantly, that we as a collective had settled for 15 years when we have the evidence to ensure that he is held to the full account he should be. Okay, so this is where it's going to get really, really interesting, and all of the work that I've put in with the data and all of the time, energy, and effort spent on producing it is now going to be used. It's already been sent to the SEC. We're already going through the process of essentially whistleblowing on TFL and Do Kwon that they did not abide by the final judgment in its entirety. But now that they've produced docket 1139, we can actually go the extra mile. We can contact the prosecution. We can contact the judge directly with that information, even to a point where we're going to be allowed to speak in the court if we play our cards right. Our voices can be heard. And we, I believe more than anyone at this point, after the victims, deserve justice. We have picked up what TfL left on the floor that was broken, and we have fixed it. We have corrected what he said could not be fixed, yet we have fixed it. And we've been chomping through the supply. We've been doing our very best. If this isn't the best comeback story that could be heard in court, I don't know what is. So let's take a look at this actual document that was filed on December 8th, 2025. Okay, on the 12th of August, 2025, the United States Attorney Office for the Southern District of New York announced that Mr. Kwon pled guilty to charges of conspiracy to commit commodities fraud, securities fraud, and wire fraud, and then also himself committing wire fraud. His case is going to be heard in the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York under the caption United States versus Do Kwon. And this is all going to be heard before the Honorable Paul A. Englemayer, as we said earlier, being Judge Englemayer. Now, this is, like I said, where it gets very, very interesting, especially for us, considering how much data we've got and considering that they will consider any information that is in regards to Do Kwon and TfL. And this is what this notice is all about. We already know when he's going to be sentenced. We even know what time he was going to be sentenced before this notice. The point is that they are reaching out to victims, and you may send Judge Englemayer a victim impact statement which describes how these crimes impacted you and your family, and your statement can be emailed in to Judge Englemayer, and they will consider any, and this is really important, any such statements sent in connection with sentencing of Mr. Kwon. If you're also a victim and would like to speak at Mr. Kwon's sentencing hearing to describe to Judge Englemayer how Mr. Kwon's crimes impacted you and your family, well, just email it in. Additional information regarding the sentencing and rights of the victims is now available on case website maintained by the United States Attorney Office, and we've got a link here just at the bottom. So let's tap on that and take a look at the rights that the victims have, and this is everything. There's 10 of them here. I'm not going to bore you and read them out, but what I am going to say to you is all of my data that I have produced that proves TfL has not burned all of their assets and that they left a considerable amount of assets on the CEX wallets that they owned means that they did not abide by the final judgment. And the likelihood is, right, they're going to want to have this information because it is going to be able to prove that this guy has still not done what he was supposed to have done. He has nothing better to do. He's in a 5x5 box. It's not like he's busy doing something else, is it? This should have been done and dusted. We shouldn't be sat here doing the job of a legal team, right? And a data analyst that probably charges tens of thousands of dollars per session just to figure out where all of the funds went, just to prove, right, that TfL did not abide by the final judgment. We need to further understand, and this part's vital. Chris Armani was paid a significant amount of money, probably millions of dollars, to handle the civil case and the bankruptcy proceedings in their totality, right? So this guy was paid to do the job that I'm doing, right? I'm here mopping up after these morons. You know, it drives me insane, but the fact that this notice has gone out, the fact that I now have the ability to actually contact, not just through the whistleblower program, but actually get in contact directly with the judge and the prosecution team. So now all of the data that I've been going through, like I said, is going to be sent directly to these guys right after I finish click on this video. I'm also, yes, going to ask if I can speak at his hearing, if I can give my side of the story and really let them know the journey that we've been on, the friend that I lost. You know, everything we've been through to get to where we are now. And all I ever wanted, right, was for no one to follow the route that my friend followed. That's all I ever wanted to begin with. And then suddenly, many other people had the exact same idea as me and wanted to pick up this chain, wanted to bring it to a better place. It exists now because of all of the positive people that have surrounded it, even with all of the negativity, the drainers, the no-gooders, the people that do absolutely nothing, right? We've still got a lot of people that are here pushing each and every day. This is an opportunity for us to not only be heard, but ensure that this guy does not get off lightly. But look, guys, I'm going to submit absolutely everything right now. I'm going to also request to speak in the courtroom and hopefully get our voices heard. And I think this could lead to something spectacular for our blockchain. It could also show these CXs that we're not messing about anymore, that we're actually in legal discussions, we're in litigation with people that are going to come after those assets that TFL left behind. This is absolutely vital. Even the SEC abided by the final judgment at this point. What makes Chris Armani, Duke One, and TFL any different? From my perspective, the only difference is we're Lunar Classic and they never cared about us from the very beginning. That much is shown from the hyperminting and the ability that they carried on, allowing people to basically decimate the total supply of LUNC. It's crazy. But look, guys, stay safe, stay humble, stay aware, and I'm going to catch you in the next one.